Think about it. Think about it.
Kick.
If any of my goals show someone needs to cue me to do one of these. I'm serious.
Think about it. 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 Think about it.
1 minute? Holy. Here, Casey, put this by Chuck. I'm on one. Got it done on Saturday, so I'm ready. Me and my gray hair. Like, it's getting more gray. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. If I didn't color it, I'd be all gray.
Good evening and welcome to Forecast from Flagstaff. My name is Chad Eichhoff and I serve as Chief Enrollment Strategist here at Northern Arizona University. I'm joined by my colleague,
Annika Olson, and I serve as the Vice President for Enrollment Management. Welcome to our second episode of 2022 Forecast from Flagstaff. Today, we are in the 1899 Bar and Grill. As many of you know, we were founded as an institution of higher education in 1899, hence the name of this amazing facility. And we are going to be talking about dining in just a little bit, and you can use your dining dollars here, students. So it's a great break from up here on the north part of campus in the historical North Union. This used to be actually our student union, and now houses this amazing dining and conference facility. So
I think I'm hungry for a burger after watching
that
video
right?
there. Yeah.
I think we might have to grab one after we're done here. So on tonight's episode, we have gotten a lot of questions submitted in advance and through our first few orientations and just coming in on email about what does my student need to do now. And so we're going to be breaking down all of the next steps and need to know information. Some of you have already joined us for an in-person orientation, and many of you are joining us in a number of sessions the rest of this month. For those of you that aren't participating in in-person orientation, you're joining us virtually. Lots of different ways to engage and find answers, and a whole calendar of different events throughout the summer to make sure you get all of your questions answered. So tonight, since we're in the 1899, we've also invited a special guest to talk us through what do I need to know about meal plans for my student, and if you are the student, where can I eat on campus? And so we're going to be breaking down all of that as well. It wouldn't be a forecast, however, without Chad giving us the forecast. And it's a toasty one, isn't it, Chad?
It is by Flagstaff standards. Some of you joining us from elsewhere in the state of Arizona might think that these look like nice, cool temperatures here. But here in Flagstaff, this is about as hot as it gets as we build to monsoon season. That kicks off usually in the month of July. Those of you joining us this weekend for in-person orientations, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, should be warm, but those of you driving up from Phoenix, it's going to be a good break for you. And we're going to have a barbecue on the North Quad even. So
Absolutely.
Should be good weather for that. We mentioned that we are talking about dining in this episode here. And before we bring TC out here, we want to have the opportunity to hear from a handful of our students about their favorite spots to eat on campus. So let's take a look.
Hey everyone, I'm Amelia. I am an environmental science major, but also a vegetarian. So eating on campus, to me, it's really important that there's no food waste and there's less eco-footprint stuff that's happening. So a really great restaurant is the Green Scene in the HLC. The Green Scene does composting for the food you don't eat. They also have less waste wrappers, so it's like more paper wrapper instead of a plastic one, which is really important to me. So the Green Scene also has delicious sandwiches and salads, which makes it easy for me to eat, but also makes me eco-conscious.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle and I'm a rising junior here at NAU, and my favorite place to eat here on campus is Turn Up the Greens inside the Union. They have salads, sandwiches, soups, and you can even get a salad as a wrap, and that's one of my favorite things. But my all-time favorite thing from there is the Italian sandwich.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm currently a rising junior here at NAU, and coming to campus, I was really nervous about finding options for me to eat because I am vegetarian, but I was really pleasantly surprised by being able to find something everywhere, and my favorite place to go is Einstein's because they have a really great veggie sandwich.
Hi, my name's Sydney. I'm going to be a junior here at NAU. My favorite place to eat on campus would probably be the Hotspot. I have a gluten allergy, so it's super nice at the Hotspot. There are designated stations meant for totally free allergen food, so it's super nice and super easy to eat there. They also have a lot of other gluten-free options like gluten-free bread and pizza, so there's lots to pick from there for me.
Welcome back. It's always great to hear from some of our ambassadors about their favorite places on campus. As promised, joining me is TC Eberly. He is our Associate Vice President of Campus Services and is a wealth of information about all things dining and how to make sure you are well fed on campus, students. And for you parents joining us, don't worry. After you hear from TC, you'll know all you need to know about dining and meal plans. So TC, because we have so many new students and families joining us, what do they need to know about meal plans and the dining options here on campus besides this great facility we're in today?
Got it. Well, thanks for having me, Annika. I really appreciate it. I think the most important thing for students and families to understand is the wide variety of options that we offer on campus, especially in the types of establishments. Our campus, which has a rather significant residential population, also has a really, really impressive range of restaurants that students can use their meal plans at. And that includes all you care to eat residential dining halls. We have over 20 retail options. We have 2 mobile options on campus that, of course, move throughout the week. And then we have, as you mentioned, our fine dining $18.99 restaurant. So I did say you can use your meal plan at any of those locations. The meal plan is a staple of NAU. It is a really, really well-used, program because it's a great value, and it also provides a lot of stability for students on campus.
That's great.
Historically, we have offered meal plans based on weekly meals, which means essentially that we tell you how many meals per week you get. It resets of the week, but it means that you always have meals to use that week. And then they come with dining dollars, which are essentially a cash equivalency that you can spend as well when you want something extra. Those have always been really, really well received, but based on student feedback, this year we are introducing blended meal plans.
Oh.
And blended meal plans, we're very excited about it, and they've been extremely popular so far. Blended meal plans are, as the name would imply, a blending of the weekly meal plan and a block plan. So we have reduced some of our weekly plans, so we have the 5. That means you get 5 meals per week, and then you also, with that, get $400 dining dollars that can be used on campus and 80 meals in a block that can be used anywhere on campus at any point in time during the semester.
Oh, that's cool. So that is new. That's very different. And so as a student, if I had a guest, maybe my younger sibling coming to visit me and needed some extra meals that in one particular week, I could use that 80 during that time when I have friends come to visit me or parents as well, right?
Yep, you've got it. I'd also say that, with some of those, with the blended plan, perhaps we also have it's a 7 and a 110. If you wanted to use one meal a day at the all you care to eat residential dining hall, you could do that. But then maybe later at night you wanted to visit one of our retail establishments like an Einstein's or a Subway. That's where we use those block plans, so you wouldn't have to spend down on your dining dollars. Although perhaps if you want to get a coffee, you can just go to Starbucks and use the dining dollars as a cash equivalency.
My favorite dining establishment
one of our best
on campus.
customers.
Yes, highly utilized by myself. TC, so if I'm a student and let's say I'm on the 14 meal plan and I did go to Starbucks, could I use a meal swipe there? Can you talk about that?
Oh, sure thing. At all of our retail locations, of which there are more than 20, we have transfer specials, and that is a set menu of items, essentially combos, for lack of a better term.
Okay, like a value meal kind of thing?
Exactly, like a value meal. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each of those will take one swipe off of whether it's the weekly plan, the 10, the 14, the 19, or our blended. That would take one of your swipes as well.
Awesome, very good. Okay, and I know one of the things that students and parents have asked me specifically this week with orientation is we don't know which one to pick. Like I have a son and he eats a ton, and so which one does he get? So can you talk about the flexibility as students settle into their schedule, their academic schedule, their sleep schedule, their social schedule at the beginning of each term?
Right. So I would say that in the case you gave, when you have a student who we know is who you know is going to be eating a ton, we also have the unlimited plan, which essentially is unlimited meal swipes throughout the semester. But that doesn't include the transfer, so it really kind of limits you into our all-you-care-to-eat dining halls. That's what some people want. As I said, if you really want the stability and predictability of making sure you have meals week to week, use one of our weekly plans, whether it's the 10, the 14, or the 19. And if you're really not sure, I'd recommend going with the blended because it's blended, and you get a little more a chance to figure out what you want to do. On that note, though, the first 2 weeks of the semester, we understand, especially with incoming students, they don't really know what it's going to be like on campus. So for the first 2 weeks, you can change your meal plan. Just go to the meal planning office, and if you start with the 10, for instance, and you decide, not quite enough meals in the week, you'd prefer to have a 14 or move to a blended, you can absolutely do that. And in fact, they'll prorate it based on the number of meals that you used already and make sure your student account reflects the current charges. So
cool. So even if you pick a plan, I think the most popular in the past has been that 14 meals a week.
I believe so, yep.
And maybe you're not using that many or you need more, there's options in those first 2 weeks of the term that you can switch. And you can also switch if you have one plan in the fall that works for your schedule and you want to change it for the spring as
You bet.
well. That's great. So much flexibility. I also know those all-you-care-to-eat places and all the retail outlets really are great about serving students with allergies. And in the all-you-care-to-eat, I know that those menus change frequently, and there's different meal stations just in the all-you-care-to-eat. My favorite, obviously, is the desserts, but there's so many different options. So can you talk about kind of the options in those as well as the allergen piece?
I'd be happy to. Both of our all-you-care-to-eat options we consider them to be mini restaurants inside the halls, inside those dining halls. And as you said, the meals actually rotate, the menus rotate daily. So you're rarely going to find the same thing twice, although we do have the staples that students have told us they want to see on a regular basis, and those are going to be your cheeseburgers and pizzas. But we also really try to, we really do try to highlight some of the healthier options. So we do have plant forward in both of them. We're going to find vegetarian and or vegan options. And as you noted, we will always have gluten-free options available at retail and all you care to eat. And then we also have allergen-free options, and via signage, and some of our other identifiers, you'll be able to tell what you're eating and what needs to happen there to meet your dietary needs throughout the year.
Great. Well, I'm hungry just after talking more about food. So how do students access this? And TC mentioned a couple times you use a swipe. What is a swipe? Well, that comes with your JAX card, which is your student ID. And that's just how you do business on campus, from meals as well as access into your residence halls or any special lab spaces that you might be working with faculty on. So that JAX card is really important. So TC, I know we have a couple different options for a physical card as well as some other options for students in this technology forward world we're living in. So can you talk about what students need to know to get their JAX card?
Yep. The most important thing for students to know right now about their JAX card, regardless of the type they decide to get eventually, is to get your photos submitted as soon as possible. And you can do that through the JAX card website. That photo will need to be approved, and then once it's in the system, you can either opt for a physical JAX card, which is the card, I think we're all kind of used to that, or last semester, NAU was part of a beta test in which we were able to provision a digital JAX card onto iPhones. And it was very, very successful, and we will be rolling that program out permanently for this fall semester. So we'll have more information later in the summer. July 1st is our target date for more info. But ultimately, once a student has their picture uploaded and it's been approved, and as long as the student has the most recent version of the NAU Go app installed on their phone, they will be able to choose whether they would like to get a card printed, which they can pick up at move-in, or a digitally provisioned ID, which will work at all the same locations as the physical card,
Awesome.
including rec center, pool, dining, residence halls, other buildings, and even for purchases at the bookstore.
Awesome. Okay, so I know one of the questions I was asked recently is, what if my student's phone is low on battery, but and will it also work on the watch? So it does work on up to 2 Apple devices, and it does also work when the battery is low and the screen doesn't even have enough battery for the screen to come on. It still works in those cases.
That is
you can
correct.
still get in to your residence hall and charge it.
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so we talked about meals and dining, how to access that, upload that photo, students. If you haven't, you'll have to make a decision on that physical card or the digital version if you're an iPhone user. It's coming soon for Android, so we haven't forgot about you Android users either. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was snow. So we got a number of questions about snow, and our campus team does amazing clearing snow. However, if you're in your residence hall and you want breakfast delivered, you can get that done through one of our Starship robots, and you can use your meal plan or dining dollars to do that. We have some footage of that amazing workforce, those Starship robots, that we're going to take a look at now.
Hello, I'm a Starship delivery robot.
These white robots here on NAU's campus are Starship delivery food robots. What was the first thing that came to your mind when you saw it?
I thought of Wall-E, of like a little robot that cleans.
Thought it was in like an RC car or something.
Either small delivery or kind of like, automated Postmates or something.
Maybe like Wall-E or something.
The design was very thoughtful. These have been under development for over 4.5 years, actually. And we knew that the robots would be in the pedestrian environment, and they needed to not just be safe, but look safe and feel safe.
The robot combines a 3D map with its sensors that includes radar, ultrasonic, and time-of-flight cameras.
It knows if it's a crosswalk, it needs to stop, it needs to check for oncoming traffic, whether that be pedestrians, someone jogging, someone on a bicycle, someone on a motorcycle, a car, a truck.
To use the service, download the Starship app. Pick your restaurant of choice, set your PIN, then wait for your food to arrive.
We pick the restaurants based on the location relative to the populations of students on campus.
Depending on how busy campus is, you should receive your order between 15 and 20 minutes. After that, enjoy.
We knew we needed restaurants both on the central part of campus and on the south part of campus. We start delivery at 8 o'clock in the morning and go till 10 o'clock Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, we start delivery at 11 o'clock in the morning and go through 8 o'clock at night.
We're so excited to be here at Northern Arizona University, but it's really endearing to see the students embrace this new technology as part of their community, something they care about and something that they're happy to have.
Hello, Here's your delivery.
You know, in the future, they could also deliver packages, take your dirty laundry to have that done. Really, the sky's the limit in terms of what we'll be able to do with the robots in the future.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
I absolutely love our robot friends here on campus. And NAU was actually one of the first institutions, actually first west of the Mississippi institutions that had the Starship robots.
I know, so awesome. I know you've used them a few times. They are fun to watch on campus. I think even one of them even has its own social media account, one of the robots.
So, yes.
So it's exciting.
And they move around you too. As
They
you're walking
do.
around campus, they recognize you, go around you. They become your friends on campus walking
They
around.
really do. They really do. And they give you food, so it's even better.
Absolutely. So we talked about at the top of the show that we wanted to make sure to dive into next steps at a deeper level. And if you remember one link from tonight's show to go check out afterwards, nau.edu/next steps is going to have a full listing of the different next steps that you need to do. So if you don't feel like you have to take notes, you can go and reference that website after we're done talking tonight. You have more than likely paid your enrollment deposit already and accepted your offer and let us know that you plan to come to NAU. One of the next things that you should do after that is completing priority enrollment. nau.edu/priority enrollment is going to begin that conversation with your academic advisor. You'll confirm that whatever major that you applied under, that you still want to do that major, maybe you had already taken some college coursework. You can let us know about that within the priority enrollment portal. So I know many of you have completed that, but if you have not yet, it's super easy to do. Would encourage you as a student or parents, if you're watching, encourage your student to go in there, log into that portal and complete priority enrollment. And again, that begins the conversation with your academic advisor. The next step, as far as getting that class schedule, which I know has been a common question.
Yes,
Hey, how do I get my class schedule? nau.edu/new freshman advising is going to take you to the Gateway Student Success Center, who does all of our first year advising, and really lay out 2 easy steps that you'll need to complete there. You're going to have to complete a module where your student will just watch some videos and log in and learn some more about academics here at NAU. And then once they've done that, they're able to then schedule their virtual advising appointment with their academic advisor.
So really 3 steps to academic advising. First is that priority enrollment and completing that. It's going to take you about, I think, 20 to 30 minutes or so. Second step is to go nau.edu new freshman advising and do that online module. I think that isn't very long either. And then that will open up so you can schedule with your academic advisor to finalize that schedule. Some of you may not have done those last 2 steps, but did priority enrollment, might already see some classes in your Louis account. Awesome. When you meet with your academic advisor, you can confirm those, or if you want to make any changes, you can do so at that time.
Yep, and I will say also when scheduling that appointment with your academic advisor, you are assigned a specific academic advisor, and when you go into schedule, you might see that they're not available maybe for a few weeks or not available at a time that you're available to meet with them. You can toggle in there to see other academic advisors' availability and can actually set up an appointment with another advisor as well.
Awesome. Okay, so the next thing on that next step checklist, I know so many of you have completed your senior year. Congratulations. Some of our out-of-state schools, specifically in my home state of California, graduate either this week or maybe even next week, and so you're getting ready. Regardless, we want to make sure we receive your final high school transcript with your graduation posted on it. We ask for that by the beginning of July 1st, and that is critical because we want to make sure that your financial aid disperses to your student account smoothly in August, and it doesn't hold up any future enrollment. It is a requirement that we have that final high school transcript. So if you haven't requested it, or if your high school is not going to already automatically send it to us, you want to make sure you do that as well. So send us that final high school transcript.
And then housing, I know, is another piece as well, too. nau.edu/housing. It is not too late to apply for housing. So I know many of you have already, and that's great. If you're still looking to live on campus, you can still go ahead and apply for housing. And one thing I'd like to note with housing in particular, as well as many offices on campus, they'll communicate with your NAU email address.
Great advice.
So yeah, just want to give you the advice, make sure you're checking as students that NAU email address. Our financial aid office would be another office on campus that will communicate strictly with that NAU email address. So just want to give you that advice.
Right, and some students said that they actually forward their NAU email to their Gmail or another account that they check very regularly. So you want to make sure whatever works for you students, make sure you are checking that NAU email. Okay, the last highlight we want to make on that next steps checklist is making sure your vaccination is either uploaded or sent in, and that is confirmation that you have measles, mumps, and rubella. So I wanted to be clear with that. It's that MMR vaccination, and that's required for all students. So a couple different ways you can do that. You can upload that, students, using that LUI account in the Campus Health Services, or CHS, website, or if you're going to join us for orientation in the next couple weeks, you can bring it along with you because our campus health team is right there at check-in to take all of that information. Or if you have any questions about submitting that, they're there as well. So advising, priority enrollment, get it done. We want you to have a full class schedule. Housing is still available. Send us your final high school transcript and submit that MMR vaccination confirmation.
Great. And if you forget that list, nau.edu/next steps is going to give you that full list.
Great.
Of next steps that students should be completing that are going to be attending this fall. So right outside the building we're in right now is the historic North Quad, which is an absolutely beautiful part of campus. And we're going to have one of our students show you around a little bit. So let's take a look.
So we're here on North Quad, one of the most historic and scenic areas of campus, where as a tour guide, I can definitely say this is my favorite stop along the tour route, where you can frequently see students slacklining, hammocking, studying, or just enjoying the scenery of North Quad itself. Directly to North Quad is both Prochnow Auditorium, where free concerts and movies are held frequently for students, as well as 1899 Bar and Grill, a really nice dining facility here on campus that students can actually use a portion of their meal plan to pay for. That being said, Annika and Chad, back to you.
Welcome back, and thank you, Corbin, for that. I will say I was checking the chat while you were talking to TC, and they put the call out for where folks were joining us from, and I was amazed. Kind of all corners of the country.
Really?
So Ohio, Florida, our neighbors in California, obviously Arizona, and we actually had someone that said they were joining from London.
Awesome.
So not sure if they're on vacation or they're going to be joining us as a student that lives in London. But thanks for joining us. Not sure what time of day it is over there right now.
Late. It's late.
Yes, very, very late. This is true. So ahead of time, we put out the call in a survey to submit some questions, and I saw some other folks asking questions in the chat as well, and thanks to the admissions team for being in the chat and helping answer some of those as they come in. But we always really appreciate those questions submitted ahead of time because it really helps drive the conversation that we have on these episodes. And I know kind of move-in was a big theme.
Yes.
Annika, I'm going to throw it to you for that.
Great. Would love to chat about move-in. So another website that we want to cue you into is nau.edu/move-in. It'll give you everything that comes in the residence halls, and that bed is a twin extra long for that question that was answered. Move-in dates are on there. Our honors students have 2 days of early move-in, and then our big move-in happens over 4 days starting Thursday, August 25th. Also, questions about when do I schedule my move-in appointment, because we do stagger them throughout the day. And some parents even asked, well, I have one student moving into one building and another moving into another building. No problem. You can coordinate those. Students will be notified in late July to select a move-in time. So you can see on your screen now, early move-in for honors is the 23rd and 24th. So you'll select a move-in time as well. And then you have, over the course of the next 4 days, we'll get everyone else moved in.
And I always like to mention there too, because sometimes our out-of-state families say, but I need to buy a flight and I haven't been able to choose my move-in date yet. you will be able to get the date that you want. It's just a matter of kind of the time that you would end up choosing between. So don't hesitate to book a flight for the move-in date that you want.
Right.
And then maybe you'll have to choose 11 a.m. move-in instead of 10 a.m. if 10 a.m. fills in, for instance.
Great. Another housing-related question is, what is included in my rent? And so, yes, Wi-Fi is included, all utilities. That is why so many of our students love living on campus and choose to stay year after year, is because it's just an all-inclusive rent payment for all of the things. What comes in the room, and what I particularly like to highlight, because I had to move a refrigerator in when I moved my student in last year to another institution, is it does come with a refrigerator, with a freezer. And so a lot of times you have to rent those additionally at institutions. They're provided in all of our residence halls for you. So I did want to point that out. Also, laundry is included. So, back in the day when I was in school, I carried around rolls and rolls of quarters, and that was like the best gift to get, was a roll of quarters to do laundry. It's all included in the rent payment. You do use that Jack's card to swipe and start laundry, so it can text you when your laundry's done. But just so you know, laundry is also included in that rent payment. I'm checking all my housing questions. Can we send things in advance to the hall if you're coming from out of state? That's a great question. We really discourage from doing that because there's lots of things happening on campus and lots of deliveries and coordination of move-in. So we really discourage you from doing that, just because sometimes it'll go to our main mail room, then you have to go pick it up. But what I will say is that oftentimes it is less expensive to check more bags. I know that's an expense as well than actually shipping things. So that's one thing, to go in and select your room. So you can take tours of those, virtual tours of those rooms, and select what hall and room you would like. If you know you applied before May 15th and you don't remember getting the email, you go back into that housing portal that you used when you applied, and it's all in there for you. If you applied after May 15th, the campus living team will assign you a space in the month of July, probably mid to late July. So no worries. If you have a housing application, we will place you in a room and make sure that you are set to go when you move in August. Did you check to make sure I carried?
I think you got all the housing ones.
All
that
right,
came in ahead of time.
Great. Okay, over to you.
So parking was another question that came in. NAU.edu/parking would be the link that I would direct you to there. And also, we oftentimes get the question, I don't think it was submitted this time, but does my student need a car? Should they bring a car? And the answer to that is no, they do not need a car. It's more of a luxury than a necessity. You're not going to be driving to class, for instance. Your car will basically stay put in the parking lot or parking garage if that's the option you choose. And then you'll basically be using it off campus, or maybe if you're going to and from home. But there are transportation options such as shuttle services that can get you around campus here. We're a very bicycle-friendly campus. And there are shuttles, private companies that operate and deliver, take students down to Phoenix and drop them right at the airport, and some other neighboring cities as well. So those would be some options there. In terms of how to get a parking permit, it's that parking website I mentioned earlier, nau.edu/parking. And August 1st is going to be the date that becomes available. So if you're coming this fall and you want a parking permit, August 1st will be the first date you have the opportunity to log in and select one of those. And as far as cost, we're looking at $500 for a surface lot, and then $680 for one of the garages that would be covered parking, which can be nice in the winter. But again, you're probably not moving your car real frequently. So that surface lot option could be a good option for you as well.
Great. So definitely not needed.
Not needed.
At all, because there's tons of options. Our students bike all the time, longboard, scooter, you name it. You see it on campus. And if a student doesn't have a way and does want to be mobile, they can check out one of our yellow bikes or our yellow bike program. So definitely not a necessity, definitely a luxury, is an additional cost, so that might be a factor for sure as well.
Yep, and for that parking permit, they actually use license plates. So it's your license plate, and just a reminder, have your license plate facing out into the parking aisle. So
we
if
can
you only
see
have a
that.
license plate on the back, make sure that that's facing outwards.
Okay, so I know another question came in about when will I see tuition charge. Fall bills go out in mid-July. Students, you can log into your Louis account and set up a parent or a guardian or another family member as an authorized user so they can see that account. And if you are having them make any payments, that is very convenient as well. But mid-July, so you'll start seeing charges as your student schedule is built. Housing is confirmed, all those things you'll start seeing, but you'll see your first official bill in mid-July.
Great. I think a question came in about residency ahead of time,
Yes,
too.
residency, great. So can my student establish residency as an out-of-state student in the state of Arizona and have all the benefits that come along with that? I will say it does happen. It's really hard for traditional aged students, those coming directly from high school, to establish residency because typically they're still claimed on their parents' tax returns or guardians' tax returns. They also have to be fully financially independent, meaning they're not receiving any assistance from family members. So yes, it absolutely can be done, nau.edu/residency, and our residency policies are set as a state by the Arizona Board of Regents. So it's not an NAU-specific policy, it's a system policy that we abide by. But all the requirements are on that website. Great question.
There was a question about AP classes, advanced placement classes, and what they would count for in terms of classes here at NAU. I would direct you towards a tool called JaxPath, since we're the Lumberjacks, nau.edu/JaxPath, and you can put in the scores that you received on those AP exams and see how it would transfer in. Also, while you're completing that priority enrollment process I mentioned earlier, certainly mention if you've got some AP coursework and test scores that may be of use in that enrollment process. And obviously, when you have that advising appointment, feel free to bring it up then too if you've already submitted priority enrollment.
Great. And also with those AP, I know many high school students that have just graduated had AP credit from previous years, but may have just sat for a test recently and won't get scores till July. Don't worry, you can send them to us at that point. Any adjustments to your schedule can be made if needed there. So I think the last question is one of my favorite questions and talks about, talk to us about student employment. How does my student find a job?
Actually, Lily from London asked that in the chat as well,
really?
too. So,
okay,
yes.
Lily from London, thanks for joining us. You get the most far away award for sure. So how do I find a job? So that Louis login that you got when you were admitted to the university is how you log on to do all your business, priority enrollment, all the things. That also will log you in, and you have an account in our jobs portal called Handshake. And so this is an amazing tool that we use as an institution, and our alumni even use it as well. So all campus jobs are posted on there. You set up a profile and you can upload resumes and you can search for jobs here on campus and some off campus as well. To make sure that if you want a job, they will be one. You can see that website on your screen now. When you graduate, also, you can also use the Handshake app. So you can download the app or just hop on the website, create that profile, and start looking. And in fact, the Enrollment Management Office is going to be hiring a student coming here, and many of our offices simply would not run without our student worker support. So great way to get some work experience, earn a little cash, and we work around your schedule. So that's a bonus. So if you have a test and you can't come in for your shift, super accommodating in that regard as well. Phew, I think we got through them all, didn't we?
We rapid fired the questions that were submitted ahead of time. The one other website I would point you to, if you are connecting with us virtually throughout the summer and want to make sure you've got the schedule of everything going on, or if you're coming to an in-person orientation and want to see that agenda ahead of time of what you can expect from that day, nau.edu/welcome would be the link that I would direct you to. And again, we've got things going on throughout the summer to connect with us virtually, financial aid sessions. We've got some Spanish language sessions as well, too, coming up later this month. So would encourage you to check out that calendar and join us for any of those that you can and whatever looks of interest. And These are always fun to get a lot of information out there and answer questions, but this is certainly not the only way that you can ask a question. If you've got a personal question that would help you as a student or you as a family feel better about that transition to NAU, shoot us an email, admissions@nau.edu, and we're more than happy to answer that question. And if we don't know the answer, we'll hunt it down for you and help you out.
Well, thanks for joining us for our second episode. Episode 3 is coming up in July, so we'll look forward to that. Until then, go Jacks!